Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't been here, let me clean up my camera real quick. Okay, there we go. That's better. If you've never been to my online live talk show, welcome. Welcome to the Sweet Life of Stephanie J, and you are in the Sweet Life Cafe. Here in the Sweet Life Cafe, we bring our beverages of choice. We have chats with amazing women, and sometimes we just have chats with me. Tonight, we're just having a chat with little old me. Got our theme music, which hopefully will change here soon because I'm going to have to hire somebody besides my own children to make my beats because they don't want to help a mother out. Anyway, welcome to the Sweet Life Cafe. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie J, better known as Stephanie Jackson. I am an online influencer, life coach. I also love to, I'm a talk show host. So one of my favorite things is to bring awesome women who are changing the outcome in the world onto my show, talk about them, talk about their businesses, talk about their lives and how they do it all. So tonight you're just going to talk with me. Right now I am working on a health coach certification. I am a certified life coach. I'm also by career a nurse and a care manager. So I love helping people to balance out and develop a life they really want to live. My sole purpose on life right now, because that's what God does, He gives you different purposes at different times, is to help women to overcome challenges and obstacles that have held them back in the past and to really help them move into a life they love, their sweet life. That's why it's called the Sweet Life of Stephanie J, and create your sweet life. Yes. So I am here tonight with just me, talking a little bit about my new mini workbook, Overcoming the Fear of Starting. And we're going to talk a little bit about step 1. So if you haven't heard of it, yes, you can go on Amazon. You can grab a copy. It's only $9. That's $9 you'll spend because it's going to take you step by step through really achieving a goal. So I am so excited to be here tonight to talk about it. And I'm going to try to get my music out of here. All right, let's just stop that there because it won't, the volume won't lower it. Oh, there we go. I was trying to be real cool and fade it like that. There we go. Welcome, 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 you guys. I'm so excited to be here. As always, I'm going to come on just for a little bit. First of all, if you're on here, let me know that you're here because Facebook, sometimes I don't always know people are here. If you're on, let me know you're here. This will stay up though. So it's one thing I do love about Facebook is that it does stay up. And you can watch it later. So welcome to the Sweet Life Cafe. I am your host, Stephanie J. I do this Sweet Life Cafe a few times a month. I'm going to really try to do it more regularly. You can find me either on Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights. You can find me on Instagram sometimes, and sometimes you can find me right here on Facebook. So hopefully all of my Instagram friends are come over to Facebook and you can join me right now. And you have to just be looking for the notifications, and you have to watch me on this page and on Instagram to know when I'm going to come on. But I am going to try to do more regularly. That's one of my 2020 goals is to try to do my Sweet Life Cafe talk show more regularly to make it more of a regular talk show. So I am lining up guests right now, moving in from February through March, so that we will have a more consistent talk show for you with guests and with yours truly. Coming up this month is almost over. I cannot believe January is almost over. We are almost at January 31st next week. I cannot believe it. Hey, Shelby, welcome to the show. You're welcome to my online talk show. Just today talking about overcoming the fear of starting. And I'm going to be talking about step 1. But I really seriously cannot believe that January is almost over. And I have a photo shoot this Saturday, and I got to get myself together. I have another one in February, and I'm lining up guests for February and March for you guys for the live show. We either do the live show here or on Instagram. Tonight, I'm live on Facebook. And what I am talking about, many of you have seen me talk about my new workbook. It's just a mini workbook. As you can see, you can carry that in your work bag or whatever, and carry it with you and work on it. Overcoming the Fear of Starting workbook. And this workbook was created just to help if there's something you want to do, you can use this for any goal, literally for any intention in your life. And if there's something that you're really working that you want to do, this workbook is designed to take you step by step through really moving past those things that stop you from moving into that thing that you want to do, and take you really into it this time. Like, not like those goals you set, like SMART goals. It doesn't even take you straight there. We're going to start at the beginning. So tonight we're going to start with, and I'll show you in the book, we're going to start with step number 1. And there are a few things before step 1, but really step 1 is all about asking yourself some really serious questions about where your mind is. Because if your mind's not there, you can write down all the stuff you want to, all the goals, all the intentions, all the resolutions. But if your mind isn't in it, it's not going to happen. That's 100%. You could take it to the bank, cash that. So in the workbook, I am starting with the mindset. And I gotta get my drink. One of the things that that is really important is that you check yourself. Number 1, what is your present mindset? And when I ask that question, it's like, am I negative? Am I positive? Do I have a bright outlook for my future? Am I overwhelmed? Am I afraid? And start really being honest with yourself. I think one of the issues that comes across, and I know when I've set goals for myself, I haven't been honest with myself, that's when I've had the most trouble achieving a step that I want to move past. And so starting with your mindset, before you even start planning the goal, take a real internal self-evaluation. Really look at yourself, look at your life, look at where you're at right now. For some people, like, you may want to start a business, or you may want to run a marathon, but you're, at that present moment, like, you just had a baby 5 minutes ago, and, it may not be physically feasible to start at that moment, and you may be down on yourself and your body and how you look. And you really have to be able to start to look at yourself in a different way before you can start really achieving the things you want to achieve in life. A clear mind, focus starts with a clear mind. Your focus starts with a clear mind. So you can't focus on the future if your mind is cluttered with the present. And I mean when it's stressed cluttered, not just that cluttered like we all have, all of us women have, where we have the husband, we have the kids, we have the job, we sometimes have school on top of that, we have parents that are ill, we have all that stuff. You really have to clear your mind of all that, because if you have all that in your head, how can you possibly planning out a marathon? Or if you're going to write a book, how can you possibly come home and write with a clear mind? So that you got to clear that mind. You have to get your mind clear of those things. And even if it's in segments. So say when I'm at work, I'm very focused on work. I mean, pretty much focused on work. I have a hard time focusing everywhere, but I try to really focus on work when I'm there. And when I'm home, when I come home to work on my business stuff, I try to really focus on that. And for me, I set up tools that help me to focus. So my mind has to be clear. If I'm mad about something that happened at work, or I'm pissed off at my husband or something, I cannot possibly, sorry if I said some people get offended by pissed off, but mad. I can't possibly focus on something that's going to be unbuilding. You can't possibly do that if your mind is distracted by what's going on inside of your head. So it's so important to really do an internal evaluation of yourself and clear your mind, and really take steps to clear that. And if you have to stop right there. If your goal setting stops right there, where maybe you need to spend some time finding ways to clear your mind, to spend time with yourself. Hey, Jenny, spend time with yourself to really get your mind clear. So if this is something that you want to move forward in life, you want to have a better relationship. Let's just use that one. You want to have a better relationship. So if your mind is always focused on all the stuff that's overwhelming you, how can you possibly be present to really put into that relationship what you need to put into to build it? And that can be a goal right there. So when we think of goals, we always think of these things like starting a business, building a book, but it can be as simple as, I want to be able to spend more time with my spouse. And that can be strategically planned out in your life, so that you say, okay, you know what, when he comes in, or when I come home, I'm not going to dump my work stuff on him. On my drive home, I'm going to utilize that time to come down off of work. I'm going to use that time to vent to myself or to a girlfriend or somebody you have to vent to. Or if that, you have to look at your personal self and what you personally need to do to clear your own mind. Because if that, your focus, no matter what it is, something you want to achieve, you have to be able to put the energy, the time, and the resources into that product that you want to see. And one thing that I'm learning a lot about lately really is how important that is, that you put that energy, that time, and those resources into that outcome you want to see. And I've learned that in my own life, and I've learned it when I've worked on projects, and I'm really learning it in relationships now, that how that changes over from just setting a goal and achieving it to using that in relationships or whatever area you want to grow in. The next question you have to ask yourself is, what do you believe about you? These are the stories that you tell yourself. These are the stories that you tell yourself. What stories do you tell yourself about you? And sometimes they're so hidden in little underlying messages that you don't realize you're saying it about you. I'll give you guys an example. I was sitting in a room with a coworker that I work with. I mean, I'm not going to say that. Not a coworker, someone at my job. Because I don't want someone to think I'm talking about them. And they were saying really negative things about themselves. Oh, I'm stupid. Oh, only a stupid idiot would do that. I mean, this is a legit adult person. And I sat there and listened to her talk, and I thought, wow, like, she really thinks badly of herself. And I felt uncomfortable because I didn't agree with her. And you can't tell people you don't agree. I know you're not stupid, but if they really believe that about themselves, that's a thought they have to change about themselves. And I hear women and I hear men say it, but I really hear women say it a lot. Like, God, that was such a stupid thing to do. Or how could I be so stupid? I've said that about myself. And when I think about it, I'm speaking that into my life. I'm speaking exactly what I don't want to happen into my life. Those underlying stories or the things that people say about you, say you were never a really smart person. I remember when I was growing up, when I was in high school, I was one of those people with the average student. And I believed that about myself until one day I challenged that thought and I said, I'm going to really apply myself and see what happens. And then I realized I graduated the top of my class. But the stories that I told myself were that I was average in school. I really wasn't a good student. And I believed those stories about myself because I was the one telling them. I was the one confirming them in myself. So really watch the stories. Do you call yourself a loser? Do you see yourself as unsuccessful? Do you see yourself as a failure? Because even if you see yourself and you're not saying it, you're still believing it. Do you pick on yourself for silly things? Because I know I do that sometimes. What do you say about you? Or the opposite is, are you your biggest cheerleader? Are you the one that tells yourself that you are good? Girl, you got this. Girl, you dropped that, but you know what? You're not stupid. You just dropped it. Really start to evaluate what you say about you. And then the last question that you would ask yourself, and I'm going to show you once again in the workbook for people that may have come in later. These are the 3 questions you want to ask yourself before you even start setting a goal. And these are in my new workbook, Overcoming the Fear of Starting workbook. You can get it on Amazon, $9. What fears do you carry? Are you afraid of failure? Are you afraid of what other people would think? I can definitely tell you when I started to want to do more, because I by nature am a talker. That's just me. Anyone who knows me, anyone who's met me for 30 seconds knows that I'm a talker. Anybody, no matter where it is. But I love people. I love talking to people. I love meeting people. I love relationships. I absolutely 100% love that. I've always been in trouble for my talking. So when I started to want to do something more related to my life coaching and talking with other people, I was afraid of what people would say. I was afraid people that I knew would come on here and be like, what do you think you're doing? Why are you on here talking to, your phone or your camera? Why are you on there talking to it and no one's listening? And I was really afraid of that. And it took me probably a year of getting over that fear to say, God has given me this voice. God has given me the ability to love people, want to meet people, want to talk to people, and I'm going to use it. but I had a lot of fear about it. I had huge fears about what other people would think and what they would say about me, because in the past people would talk about me when I was just being me, or they would make me feel bad about just being me. And so those fears really stopped me for years into stepping out into what God had placed in me all along. So what kind of things are you afraid of? Are you afraid of what people think? Are you afraid of failure? Do you feel like you might be looked at as an imposter? Because when I first started life coaching, I thought, gosh, I'm not perfect. I still have bad days. I still have days where I'm, in a mood or something but I'm not perfect. But I have overcome areas that I want to help other people overcome. And those are the stories I had to start telling myself. Are you basing your future on what happened in your past? Because even, I hate absolutely one thing I don't like when people say is that a leopard never changes its stripes. That may be true for some people, but that is not true for everybody. And when you start to believe that about yourself, and you start to believe that I'll always be this way, or I'll always be, this person. I've seen people who were like shy, whose personalities totally changed as they got older. So the stories you tell yourself, what you believe about what's your mindset, the stories you tell yourself, or what do you believe about yourself, and what fears do you carry, are the first 3 areas that you're going to look at in overcoming the fear of starting. And what I'm looking forward to is I'm working on a masterclass, which I'm very excited about. And it's not going to be for everybody. Excuse me. Ooh, that LaCroix got me. It's going to be for a small number of women who really want to sit down one-on-one, work together to really work towards that goal. And we're going to take each step of overcoming the fear and work together to really help you to move past that step to the next step and the next step and the next step. So I don't know if you had a chance. If you don't know, I got a podcast. I have a podcast. And on the podcast, episode 37 of, this is still season 1, episode 37, I'm talking all about this first step. The first step is, where is your mindset? So if you catch this, you can listen. But on episode 37, the podcast is called Getting Made, M-A-D-E, capital M-A-D-E, with Stephanie J. So you can catch that episode there. It talks more about it. I really want to see all of us achieve everything that we desire in this next decade. And we can do it. We can definitely do it. But it starts with, where's your mindset? What do you believe about yourself? Changing those beliefs. And what are your fears? So that's all I have for tonight. I'll be back next week. And I think I'm going to be over on Instagram next week. So you're going to have to follow me over to Instagram on the 29th. I'll be live there. I'll be talking about step 2. And that's going to be, if you want to get a head start, episode 38 episode 38 talks about step 2. I had to slow my mouth down. So I am going to get some work done. My goal right now is to finish my health coaching certification before the end of February. So I'm really working on that. That's one thing I'm working on. And I always like to share with you guys what I'm doing and where I'm going, so that you know that I'm not making this crap up. Like, I live this. I totally live this every day. I had crappy mindsets, and it kept me stuck in how I saw myself, and it kept me having fears. So that's why it starts right there. And there were areas in my life that I wouldn't move forward. I moved forward where I was comfortable because it was easy, but the challenges I wasn't able to move forward to. And I'm a strong believer in the Word of God. So the Word of God is a strong foundation in what helped me to move forward. And so on Instagram, and sometimes here, but on Instagram, I always share a lot of the word that I'm reading that helped me. So just start with your mindset. Start in looking at how you see yourself, and start looking at those fears that you carry that keep you from being that version of yourself you really want to be. So I am done. Thank you for stopping by the Sweet Talk Cafe. We got to get our going out music. See, this is the kind of stuff that, I need a engineer for. I need to hire somebody. Maybe I'll hire one of my children. I don't know. I'd have to pay them. You guys, thank you so much for joining me on the Sweet Talk Cafe, this show, and I hope that you join me next week. I'll be over on Instagram on the 29th, and I'll be talking about step 2. Check out episode 38 of the podcast, and you can find out what that is. I'm going to head out of here and get some work done. And I will catch up with you guys next week. Or just stay here and keep watching other stuff on this. I got a bunch of stuff on this page. You guys have a great night. Bye.